Hello everyone, Bernick is here, RooTz, get root ball gaming. Today we are playing, by request from Jonathan, Mad Max. Well, the funny thing is, I've already played Mad Max, so you can't get me on this one, Jonathan. He asked me to play it because Outlander reminded him of Mad Max, in which we found out was that they had the game developed and they lost the license to do Mad Max, so they just changed it as Outlander. So yeah, anyway, let's begin. So, sweet. Frickin' sweet. This makes me think of, Micro Machines. So, how I actually first experienced, Mad Max was in my bedroom when I was 4 years old. I had a friend at school. Let's call him Timmy, because he kind of turned into a not so great person in the later days of our lives. And, you know, he might come throw a cinder block through my car window if he knew where I lived. So yeah. Anyway, we'll call Timmy. Hang on a second, I gotta try. God. Sweet. What is this walking thing? Like, he's walking like he's trying to pull a wedgie out of his butt without using his hands. Or either like, walking down looks like he's trying to ski. Good God. What? Oh, man. This is horrible. I barely remember this part, and I think for good reason. That fucking downhill ski, or the trying to pull a wedgie out of your butt. Sweet walk animation. Alright, got key. Yeah. Anyway. Cool. Pretty decent stuff. The friend from school, I don't remember what grade I was in, but I had a Super Nintendo, so 10-ish, 11-ish, I think it might have been like 5th or 6th grade. Anyway, small kid, like maybe preteen, but well, I think that was a waste. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. So anyway, I had a Super Nintendo and I had like 4 or 5 games, like, you know, Zelda and Mario All-Star and probably some random game, like 2 or 3 of them. So anyway, my friend at school's like, hey man, I really want to play Super Nintendo. What if we trade systems for a little while? And I was like, what do you mean trade systems? He's like, well, I'll trade you my regular Nintendo and you let me play your Super Nintendo. I'm like, well, I've already got a regular Nintendo. He's like, yeah, but I got a ton of games for it. And I was like, okay. He's like, a whole lot of games, like over 100 games. And I was like, really? So I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess, because the 5 or 6 games I had, I've already beaten the brake shoes off of. So, I didn't really, I really wasn't playing those. And I rented just about everything at the game store, so I was like, alright, sure, man, whatever. So, I bring my Super Nintendo in like 4 or 5 games, and he brings his microwave box with him to school. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh, it's all my games. And I mean, it was a microwave box full of fucking regular Nintendo games. And I was like, oh my god, man. I was like, I've never seen this many games before in my entire life that it wasn't on the shelf at a light rental place. He's like, yeah, most of them are stolen. And I was like, wait, what? And like, jumped away from the box. He's like, yeah, my mom used to work at this video place, and she would just steal a video game like once every couple of weeks and just bring it home to me and let me play it. And she would rent it, and like, you know, he would wink at me, and I'm like, you coming on to me, dude? No, but apparently she had the freaking 5-finger discount at the old whatever video place she worked at. Dang, that was a waste of teeth. So anyway, we do the trade-off. I'm like, alright man, well Okay, better get out of here before I die or something. So anyway, we trade up, and for like 2 weeks, man, it's like nostalgia because there was a ton of regular Nintendo games in that box that I'd never seen before, I'd never played before. One of them being Mad Max. I remember I played it for a little bit, and I'm like, alright, this sucks. I kind of got the idea. And, jeez. So I played it for like 2 or 3 weeks, you know, almost a month, and I burned through all the games. Like there was a ton of regular Nintendo games, like I said, never seen before, never played before. So those were really cool. And I'm like, all right, neat. So whoa, my car's fucked up. So after a little while, I was like, all right, man, I'm ready to trade back. And he's like, what do you mean trade back? And I'm like, yeah, man, I've played through all your video games. I need the arena pass, I think. Can't afford it. Fuel, let me get 2 gallons. Consider it done. Can I get a repair? Need a little tune-up? Consider it done. Cool, alright. So anyway, he's like, yeah, man, sure, yeah, we'll trade her. And I'm like, okay. And then like the next day, I'm like, hey man, you got my games? He's like, oh man, my little sister was sick, and she threw up on my backpack, and you know, I was washing it this morning, and my mom's like, why don't you help your little sister? She's throwing up, you know, and blah. So I mean, he was doing like any kid. He was making all the excuses. Oh, my uncle was there last night, and he stayed up late playing it, and I told him it was mine, and he said he was going to stay home and play it all day instead of go to work. I'm like, well, you got a shitty ass uncle. But anyway, he keeps making excuses, and finally he's like, well, why don't we just trade straight up, man? I'm like, what do you mean trade straight up? He's like, I'll trade you those several hundred regular Nintendo games for your Super Nintendo. And I was like, fucking get bent. Give me my Super Nintendo. And then he's like, nah. So finally I did like any responsible child. I was like, Mom! And told my mom what was going on. And she was fucking furious. That is an understatement. So, wow, look at all this stuff. Neato. So, I should have came to this place first. It's way better. Wow, there's a ton of stuff. So she takes me to this boy's house, Timmy's house, and meets with her mom, and meets with his mom, and was like, you know, hey, listen, my dumbass son did this, and she's like, really? Oh my gosh, like acting like, you know, it was news to her. And let's just say they lived in a place that rhymes with Ayler Arc, and they were Ash. So, which, I mean, I grew up in a trailer, but it wasn't exactly white trash-ish. I mean, it was a little bit. So anyway, you know, we're hammering all this out, and so she's sitting there talking, and my mom, you know, they're out there smoking cigarettes, you know, hammering out all the finite details, and eventually comes down to, you know, her, like, saying, well, let's trade up. And she's like, well, hang on now. My son tells me that little Brennicus said that they were going to trade systems. Is that correct? And my mom looks at me, and I was like, no, we traded temporarily to play each other's games, but it was not a permanent trade. It was just simply, you know, he was going to play my system, I was going to play his for a little while, and then life was grand. And I explained that to my mom and the lady, and she's like, well, that's not what Timmy tells me. Timmy tells me it was a straight up trade, and that you agreed to it willingly, and, you know, now you're trying to welch on it. And I look at my mom, and I looked at her kind of like cleaving off the cleaving show. I was like, really? Like, you gonna believe this? So, get off me. Of course I'm gonna die now that I got all this inventory. So anyway, yeah, I was like, really, Mom? You died in a wreck. This game's a fucking wreck. So anyway, I was like, Mom, come on, for real? And, you know, she's like, I don't think that's the trade my son made, but even if he did, it's not his to trade. I bought this game console for him for, you know, for Hanukkah or whatever, and, you know, it's not his to trade away because he's a small minor child, and he has no say in bearings of personal property possession. And, so then his mom gets this look on his face, and is like, well, they made a binding verbal contract, and if he's not honoring it, then, you know, I'd like to see what maybe a lawyer would have to say about this. And my mom looks and says, bitch, are you seriously implying that you could go to court over a deal that two 10-year-olds made betwixt themselves over trading game systems temporarily? And proceeds to cuss this woman out, which I was terrified. Because I was like, what am I going to get when we're out of here? But, needless to say, after a little bit of cussing out on the front porch while smoking a cigarette, which is classy, get my game system back, and then I get cussed out all the way home with, you stupid little fuck, blah, 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 blah. Don't you ever blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I won't ever blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, so that's my little story with this game. That, yep, that's about it. Nothing too much more riveting than just almost lost my whole dang it, Randy. These little janitors and freaking jumpsuits are freaking annoying. Damn, that's the one I should have went into. Alright, now I got a ton of food and everything, which I need it for currency. So I'm guessing the whole point is to drive around and try to survive and find these little sheds. You burned down my she shed. Yeah, I almost lost my Super Nintendo to a bad deal, to a bad dude. Which, wish you the best. I doubt you'll ever come across this video, but, I mean, no hard feelings, Timmy. You're just being a little shit kid, like we all were when we were kids, but just, way to be a dick and try to steal my Super Nintendo, man. Alright, so, I need the Arena Pass. Yeah! Let me get some fuel. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. Great. So, I have never unlocked the Arena Pass. Because I've actually playing this game as a child and visiting it once or twice as an adult. I never knew exactly what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. So, I'm gonna go back to that other I'm about to run out of gas. Great. Who would have knew in the world of Mad Max you could run out of gas? Like, OMG, LOL, and whatever the other demonic cult signs you put in text messaging. Wow. That's some classic, wow. And now we'll never know. You know. Alright, let's see if we can't find the arena first. Because, you know what, like, I remember playing this game and just fucking hating it, not knowing what to do, shite. And playing these games back on my channel now, like, I really want to try to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, maybe my small little Brennicus brain couldn't understand what objective you were asking of me. And now that I'm a mature adult and well balanced in my life, I should be able to understand exactly, you know, what you're wanting of me. Jesus, I know they want me to die in this pit up here, that if I don't get enough speed. God, would you quit spam? Oh! Come the hell on. Yeah. Sweet air. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Is there a map? Of course there's not. So you have two buttons. One is brake button and one is dynamite stick button. Which, nope. And like, to find these little little sheds you're supposed to go in and ski / try to pull the wedgie out of your butt without using your hands. They're so hidden. Wow. Alright, you know what? We gave Mad Max his fair share, and I think that's all I could ever ask us for. So, yeah, we're done with this piece of shit. Brennan, Construct Roots, get rid of all games. See you next time. Fuck you, Jonathan.